baby. Hi everyone, welcome to another live stream with me, Harry Partridge. Hope you're hearing me. Hope you're able to see everything okay. Let me know if there are any problems. Hope you're having a good day today wherever you are. I hope the sun is shining, unless it's, in the evening or at nighttime. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be working on the intro for the YouTube channel Dead Meat, the horror movie review channel that I've been working on an animated intro for about 2 weeks now, maybe 2.5 weeks. It's certainly taken a lot longer than I anticipated, but we're nearly there. There is definitely light at the end of the tunnel, and I've been helped big time by my assistants Yap and Sven, my 2 interns that have been doing some cleanup and some coloring in and some animation help all around. So yeah, we're just going to be working on a couple of characters today. Slasher movie villains. There's a bit I'll show you in a minute where we basically have to catch a glimpse, and I do mean a glimpse, of about 4 or so horror movie villain characters. So that's what we're going to be working on today. So let me say hello to our chat who have joined us for today. Hello, Danka the Clanker. Hello, Sam. Hiya, Sid Sugar Skull. Toxic Assassin 1150. Bowser the Dog, Davy88. Stalktoons, who is in fact Sven as well, my intern who's helping on this. Davy88, the Bad Cow Bunch. Hey, Bad Cow Bunch. And Agsma and Mr. Matimation and Gallo and Meredith Stanley. Hello, Meredith Stanley. Yeah, we're working on an intro for Dead Meat. Meredith Stanley says, holy cow, I was watching Dead Meat when I got the notification for this stream. Yes, I'm doing a bit of animation that will end up on their channel. Hopefully it'll end up regular because it's an intro, so hopefully you'll see it again and again and again and get really sick of it. Yeah, we're working on this this intro that shows, famous horror movie characters being silly, among other things. We've got Ghostface from Scream. We've got Michael Myers in his many guises. I think the last stream that I did, we were working on this shot here, but it's all been finished since then. We've got Jason Voorhees plus Mum. I drew this background yesterday. I absolutely banged this thing out. Look at it. It's so rough, but honestly, I think kind of effective. The wooden planks of wood in the shack, I literally just basically 3 completely competitive words there that are all fighting against each other. I grabbed using the rectangle tool in or the shape tool in Photoshop, just random shapes, and just swiped at it to create that wood look. It was done really, really quickly. The fire is actually animated, but we can't look at it play back right now. You'd have to click into the motion symbol and look at it. Yeah, that's basically what it's doing. It's playing back with that kind of action, sort of a flickering effect, but see, it doesn't play back unless we render it, unfortunately. So yeah, there we go. Hiya, Josh James. Thanks for coming here as well. And anyone else I've missed? Hello, Everblood. Hello, Tewak. Mr. Manimation says he gave up a very prestigious job for Pro Jared to do that. I don't know, you talking about me? So yeah, what are we working on today for the intro? But we have a bit at the end of the intro where after we see these horror characters all being silly, like that, we've got a close-up on our protagonist Zoran, and basically what we want here is we want a bunch of characters reflected in his glasses. That's kind of a hard effect to do because to get something that's multi-layered that doesn't look bad when you see it with low transparency, I'm gonna have to render it out, I think, as a PNG sequence and then sort of, track them onto his glasses. But he gets this kind of wide-eyed look, like, oh my gosh, they're coming alive, and then whoosh, then it zooms out and we get like the final part of the action. I will get to that in a minute, guys. First of all, I'm gonna have a sip of my homemade iced coffee, and you know how I make iced coffee? I'll tell you. I literally dump instant coffee granules in a glass and fill it up with lukewarm water and add ice cubes and beat it up with a spoon. It's not very high grade iced coffee at all, but it does the trick. It makes me feel awake without making me all hot and sweaty. Hey, the cold kids. Holy smokes! Dr. Bobbert with the super chat. You are a very cool lad. Here, have money. Well, thank you, Dr. Robert. That is a tremendously big super chat, my friend. You didn't need to do that. Good lord. I really appreciate it. Well, now I feel like I've got to do something and be productive, but I was planning to take it kind of easy today because we don't have a ton of work to do. Really, I was thinking this would be like a 90-minute stream at the longest, but now I feel pressure, tremendous pressure. Thank you very, very, very much, Dr. Bobbert. That's extremely generous of you. So yeah, basically, we've got to create this. Moment where we see all these different characters reflected in Zoran's glasses there at the end, and I'm trying to remember where all the layers are. I think I may have hidden them because I was going to trace Michael Myers from another shot, but this is kind of what I'm envisioning. I'll sketch it out for you so you can all see what I'm doing here. Hey, Comic Tropes! Everyone, Comic Tropes is a great channel if you're into comic analysis, comic reviews, comic history, and you just like seeing a good person be nice and friendly on camera. Go and check out Comic Tropes, which is ran by my buddy Chris. So yeah, what I'm thinking of, reflected in the glasses here at the end, is I'm thinking that we're going to have 4 characters actually in the reflection. I'm thinking we'll have a Michael Myers, looking all spooky, kind of coming in with his knife here. You know, Mike Myers coming in with a knife. That's going to be kind of in one lens. And then in the other lens, in the next to him, we want, who is it going to be? Let me see, we got Ghostface, Jason Voorhees, okay, and the character from Behind the Mask, which is a movie I've never seen, and I don't remember the guy's name. But we've got this other guy in a funky mask, kind of coming into like that. Now, I might imply some other characters with sort of heads in the background. This is very, very rough, excuse me. And then the other 2 characters that are going to be coming into shot are Jason Voorhees, who kind of has lots of holes in his helmet, in his hockey mask. Jason Voorhees and Ghostface from Scream. So we've already got some of those characters drawn, so I think it should be kind of easy to finish them off. And I'll get to that work in a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll copy and paste some of the characters I've actually already drawn. Like you can see, we already have Jason here. This was actually in between and colored in by Sven Storktunes in the chat, and it came out really nicely. This is a simple little action of him presenting his mommy with some gifts. But now that we basically have that Jason design, I'll just reuse that. I'll flip it because he's technically being reflected, so that little dent in his helmet is going to be on the other side. That's the thing. Leslie Vernon, that's the name of the character. Comic Tropes, saving me there. I couldn't remember it. I've never seen the movie Behind the Mask, but the progenitors, Zoran and James of Dead Meat, who are behind this intro, would like me to put that character in, or at least Zoran would like me to put the character in, so I will do that for sure. Dan Sills. Hey, Dan Sills. Dan says, I like the Freddy Bear. Yeah, the Freddy Bear is a nice touch, I agree. Not an idea of mine. I just drew a generic teddy bear and I sent it off to Zoran, and he was like, make it a Freddy Bear. So I said, all right, dude, I'll make it a Freddy Bear. Hey, Ashos as well. Comic Trope says, did you draw Wishmaster yet? You know, unfortunately, I can't just draw the characters I want to draw. It's all, to spec. So basically, I can't just go crazy and draw whatever characters. I do like the Wishmaster movies. Let me see if I can draw Wishmaster from memory. I really like the Wishmaster movies because I like the be careful what you wish for type story. Where someone just says, boy, I sure wish that guys thought I was hot stuff. And then she sets on fire. I love that kind of thing. I wish I was as cool as ice. And a guy gets frozen. All these really vague, evil, stupid wishes. I wish that I had looks to die for. I don't know. I'm sure that would get turned into something. But the Wishmaster, he kind of looks like this. He's a djinn. He's a desert genie. I'm trying to remember what he looks like from memory. Played by Oh, that guy with a cool voice. I forget his name. But doesn't he have long... He has long sort of tentacles that are kind of horn tentacles. That's all I remember. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. I've seen the first two, actually. First two Wishmasters, but I've not seen the... Does he have little horny chin bits, maybe, as well? And I think he wears some sort of robe. But anyway, Robert Devoff, that's his name. Robert Devoff plays him, and he's got like a really, I can't do it, but he sort of talks like that. Everything he says sounds really close to the microphone. Yes. Check out Wishmaster. Pretty cool film. The first one in particular is really good, and that's exactly what he looks like. He just looks like an angry man with dreadlocks in a bathrobe. But anyway, let's get back into drawing our characters today for the intro. So I'm gonna take one of our Michael Myers because I like the way that this face looks. I like that every time we draw it, we're drawing it from the exact same perspective. I think it makes him look kind of more robotic, if that makes sense. So let's grab this one, and I'm gonna end up tracing it, guys. Don't hate me. It's gonna be traced 100%. And we'll have him kind of... We'll have him coming in like that, but I'll change the body, and I'll get rid of the Austin Powers stuff. Obviously, he's not going to be wearing the crushed velvet suit and have the glasses and teeth and everything. I'm probably going to give him a knife, and I need to kind of figure out what the iconic weapons of these characters are. So if it's Michael Myers, L. Vernon back here, and then we got Ghostface from Scream, and Voorhees back here. I'm pretty much sure they all use knives, but I've never seen the Leslie Vernon movie Behind the Mask. So if anyone has any suggestions for what weapons I should give them that are iconic, I was just going to give Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and Ghostface all basically knives. Like Jason Voorhees, maybe a machete type knife, or like a pitchfork or something. But I'm probably gonna have to look at reference in a little bit, so that's gonna be boring. I may have to go ahead and do that. Hey, Tamagotchi. Andrew Devoff says comic tropes. All right, well I got it right on the obscure part. I remembered it was a Devoff. Bowser the dog says knife and claws and machete. Claws? Who uses claws? Jason uses a machete. You're right, Tyler. He does use a machete. So I'll give our boy Jason a machete. Let's start on that now. Let's draw Jason, lovely Jason, with a machete. He's on this layer here, because you know me. I am not going to be drawing characters unnecessarily numerous times if I don't have to. I can just copy and paste, and then we trace. So he'll be coming in like that. And I'll flip. So let me see. Jason machete. Let me bring up Google Images here. Okay, I'm seeing pictures of Jason, and he's got a big old machete on him, like this. There we go, like that. And he's got a gnarly looking hand. So he's kind of going to be coming in like that. And the other character is Leslie Vernon. Now, did we get any notes for Leslie Vernon from anybody in the chat? No. Butter knife, says Dr. Bobbert. No, we can't give him butter knives. They've got to look dangerous. Freddy uses claws, says Bowser the dog. Yeah, but we're not putting Freddy in there. I'd like to, but there is a specific reason why there are certain characters that they can feature in the show and certain characters they can't, and I don't think Freddy is one that they can show, unfortunately, when they get around to that. So he's not, other than the bear, which is a little reference to him. I can't really put a big reference to him. I have a little idea later on. I might include a few characters in silhouette. So yeah, we're going to be looking at pictures of Leslie Vernon from Behind the Mask. where is he? He has like a sickle thing. Well, that's cool. That's interesting and unique. All right, so these are the images I'm finding for Leslie Vernon. I have never seen the movie, so it's going to be a little bit. You know, here's the thing, right? When you're drawing characters that you don't actually know about and you're not familiar with, this is a specific example I've given before. When I did the animation for the video game Destiny 2, I did not play Destiny 1. I've never played Destiny 2. And Joyce and she helped me on it. We both had to research lots of the different characters. This is the guy, Leslie Vernon, that we're going to be drawing here. In fact, that's a thumbnail from Kill Count, which is a video on the Dead Meat channel. So we're going to be drawing this guy in a second. But just to go back to my Destiny 2 example, because we didn't know anything about the franchise, we had to do a lot of research to make sure we weren't drawing things that were wrong, even though they looked like the reference material. And the example I would give is if somebody said, if you'd never heard of Star Wars and someone said, can you draw me a Star Wars battle scene? And you looked at a bunch of images online and you're like, okay, I sense who the bad guys are, who the good guys are. And you drew a stormtrooper commanding a battalion of Darth Vaders into battle. You know what I mean? Like, that would obviously be so wrong because there's only one Darth Vader and many stormtroopers, and this would be the inverse of that. That would be a terrible mishandling of the Star Wars characters, but by all means, that is something that you could technically do. If you keep seeing, you know, you're looking at research and like, I keep seeing this Darth Vader armor and the stormtrooper armor, it looks like there are armies, so let's draw like a troop of Darth Vaders going in, you know, being commanded by like a stormtrooper. That would be an example of something you'd get really wrong. So I'm going to try not to get this horribly wrong. Like, I hope this is the same character as this, even though one's wearing a mask and one isn't. I think I'm right in that fact, so I don't think I'll screw it up too much. So Comic Trope says, who would win in a fight between Uber Jason and Candyman? I thought Uber Jason was like some kind of Uber driver. Uber Jason is, I guess, if you've seen Jason X, that is the one where they go into space. I think that's the one you're talking about, and he gets all powered up at the end. And Candyman, I've never seen a Candyman movie. I wanted to as a kid, and my mum wouldn't let me, and for some reason I've not gotten around to it yet. So I'm gonna say probably Uber Jason, but maybe Candyman is more magical than I'm sort of giving him credit for. He might have some more powers. I thought he was basically a guy back from the dead that had a big blade, but maybe he's more sort of otherworldly than that. Alright, so this guy kind of looks like that. He's dressed in sort of this real ramshackle attire. So he's got the kind of overalls like that. He's kind of a slightly built fella, so we'll try and include that too. I'm just trying to think of how I'm going to comp him in with Jason. Probably have him actually flipped and do it this way. Rawr. He's going to be coming in. He's got his sickle on. Something like that. I would call that a sickle. Looks like some kind of farming equipment. Not a great drawing, and nobody is shouting at me saying, "Wow, Harry, you really are you're really showing off a bit there." But we're gonna clean it up and make it look nice. All right. Don't be giving me no flack. That's totally good for our purposes. We just want little sort of almost silhouettes that just imply the characters coming in. Although I think the sickle should be going the other way. I am not a fan of the way I've drawn that sickle there. I think something more like that is going to be kind of cooler. And his other hand can be sort of arg, like the end of the mutant enemy logo. Arg. Alright, so yeah, I got the outfit basically. Yeah, it's just overalls. Alright, it's just wearing overalls. Alright, we'll clean that up and that'll look really beautiful when it's all colored in and it's all professional looking, yada yada yada. Now the other two characters we got to draw, is Michael Myers, who I'm pretty sure just wears like a blue jumpsuit, right? We'll go and take a look at that in a second. Comic Trope says, I like the Candyman movies. The second isn't as good, but the New Orleans setting makes up for it. Yeah, I know that it's kind of standout for being a big commercially successful horror movie with predominantly black cast. There are examples out there I can think of, but not many, and not that go really mainstream. So that's cool. Yeah, I know Tony Todd is the actor. What did I see him in the other day? He popped up in something, and I was like, this guy's cool. Oh, yes, The Rock. He's in The Rock. He's one of the pissed off soldiers that are working with Ed Harris to kind of blackmail everyone. Hey, Dat Geek Boy. Dat Geek Boy says, just got the notification. What did I miss? Nothing of value or worth. It's we're just drawing horror characters for a very short, quick insert, basically, to be comped into the end of our intro. We're doing an intro for the horror YouTube channel Dead Meat, an animated intro. We've got our wacky, silly characters based on famous horror slasher movie villains. And at the end, in these glasses, I want to see just like a bunch of heads reflected. So that's why we're not drawing them really well or really fast or really high detail, and we're drawing them fast because they're only going to be reflected in the eyes of the character at the end, basically. That's it. Hey, Immortal Demon. Always good to have an immortal demon join us. It really does put me at ease. I'm going to have a little bit more of my iced coffee, guys. Alright, so yes, he wears the mechanic outfit. Mechanic's outfit. Let's just look at Michael Myers. Donkey! Okay, Michael Myers. Yeah, we're kind of... There you go. It's the kitchen knife. That's what I was sort of thinking of. That's not the image I was trying to copy and paste. Now my computer's making fancy noises. This is how I think of Michael Myers, with the mechanic suit and the little knife, the little kitchen knife, and the arm by his side. So we're just gonna get rid of everything. I'm not gonna redraw the teeth when I trace this bad boy. So I'll just have him the knife just out like that. And then the arm just by the side. He looks so stupid with those teeth. We're not going to keep the teeth, don't worry. Urgh. Alright, that's going to be our Michael Myers. Make the knife maybe a little bit bigger. I might animate some of these limbs a little bit, like have the motion tween up. But this is not going to be fancy animation, everyone. You're going to be looking at this and thinking that I'm a complete fraud. Which would make sense. I am somewhat. I'm somewhat of a fraud. Which reminds me, there's a really good joke that was in a Family Guy animatic I watched many years ago that I don't think is in the episode. It's the one where the British pub gets destroyed by the new owner, who takes out a big insurance claim on it beforehand. So he basically commits insurance fraud. And there's a bit where Lois is like talking to the insurance guy, the insurance company guy, and he says... He's like, wow, yeah, he's so lucky. He took out a huge claim a few days before the fire. And Lois goes, doesn't that seem a little bit suspicious to you? And he's like, no, it happens all the time. And then later on, they finally, the guy comes back and he's like, you, I am putting you under citizen's arrest for suspicion of, and he pulls out a dictionary and he goes, fraud. Like, this insurance guy has never heard of fraud. Anyway, I don't think that joke made it to the cartoon, but I thought it was pretty funny for Family Guy. It made I laugh, is all I'm saying. Fraud. Comic Tropes asks, what horror series has the best consistency? You can technically ask what poop has the best consistency too. But I would say, I don't know about consistency. I probably am more of a Friday... No, sorry, a Nightmare on Elm Street guy. I like the supernatural, I guess it's paranormal more than supernatural. The paranormal side of Freddy, I think, is fun. All the weird dreams and sort of like fantasy creatures that you see. I don't mind Friday the 13th, but there's not a ton of that. I know it goes goofy in some of the films, like where he takes people over by turning into slugs or something. I remember there's like some sort of evil slug in the 9th movie, but I prefer Nightmare on Elm Street. Storktoon says, an immortal demon for safety. That's what you want. For safety. Okay, so we only have one more character we really need to draw, and that is... oh, yeah, it's Leslie Vernon. Hang on. Leslie Vernon with Michael Myers. Like that. I might have that hand down. Like that. Yeah, there we go. So we got Mike Myers and Leslie Vernon, and those two will be in one shot together. And then the other one is Ghostface, my boy. My boy. I dressed up as Ghostface for Halloween once. It was the last Halloween that I ever celebrated it as a trick-or-treater, and I think I was 13 or 12 years old, 12 or 13, and I was getting too big and too bulky, and I went with a friend of mine who was also getting too big and too bulky, and our outfits, because we were getting beyond the age of really wanting to sort of do like a whimsical costume, like, ooh, we're a ghost or a werewolf, we just wanted to be intimidating. So he was Jason Voorhees and I was Ghostface, and we just took, they weren't real weapons, but I guess one of them technically was. He took a baseball bat and I took a big prop knife, and it was raining, and all these old women that were opening the door to us, you could see they were a bit disturbed, and it was just such a lame final trick-or-treating, because I felt like we were disturbing everyone and making them concerned for their safety, and it wasn't fun, it wasn't whimsical, it wasn't like, I was dressed as a nice dragon. We just in black outfits basically with white masks and weapons, and it was just, that was it. That was the last time I went trick-or-treating. It was more fun to answer the door since then. Bulked up Harry, says Davy88. Yeah, I was just like chunky and kind of tall and probably intimidating, because you can't, when you got a mask on, you can't see what someone's face looks like. They could be older or younger than their height implies. Hey, Funcubes says, like the first Terminator as a horror movie. I mean, yeah, the first Terminator is kind of a horror movie, but definitely that's not a series that is consistent in any way, if you're answering Comic Tropes' question. Hey, Joel Mayer. Joel Mayer is an excellent animator. We've got a few great animators in the chat today. Joel Mayer says, especially the stop motion stuff in Nightmare. Yeah, I love all the special effects in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Hello, Monty Lawler. Another late one, haha. I guess it's kind of late for me, but I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next hour. I don't want to be on this for too long today. Josh James says, one question, Harry. Starbarians episode 4 be bloody? It be bloody indeed. It's going to be gory, because we're going to end the story. That rhymed. We're going to end that, we're not going to kill the Starbarians, but we're going to end that chapter, and it's going to end in a bloodbath. It's going to be lots and lots and lots of people getting their head cut off, or their stomach, the stomach gouged out, or their nostrils split, or their eyeballs raked, or they're done, and then yeah, it's gonna be gory. So it was Ghostface. Can we get away with, can I just copy and paste one of the ghost faces I've already drawn? Look at this mess, man. Yap, my intern Yap, did the cleanup on this. I drew every frame, but I did it as rough animation, and then Yap handled all the cleanup. And because the character was so incredibly monotone, I put that yellow rim light on him, which I'm sure was a pain in the butt to animate, but I just thought it did something to pick him out from the background. I don't know why I made the paintbrush gray. That seems like an oversight, really, because it seems to just add more gray to the shot. But yeah, look at all these frames. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 frames for, what is that? Not even a second of action. I drew all the blood splatters on yesterday. I just wanted a lot of kind of effects to follow, and I didn't ask Yap to do the blood. I wanted to do that because I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted yet. Trying to pick a... Yeah, Ghostface looks pretty on model there. He looks good there, so I'll take that one. And Ghostface, I'm pretty sure, also just uses a knife, right? He's not going to have the painter's palette. We're going to get rid of that. Pretty sure he's always just got a knife. He's in the thumbnail of the video. So yeah, like Michael Myers, he's just got that kind of almost like a combat looking knife, right? Yeah, like that. Okay, so I wonder if I could do something more interesting with him, like have his arm go across with the knife. Maybe just have it held straight down. Yeah, I'll just have it straight down like that. Because his is kind of coming out at that angle, his is up high, his is going up, and this one's coming straight down. I don't want to just have everybody holding the knives at exactly the same angle. That will look very lazy. Hello, Magma Muncher. Magma Muncher says, drat, there goes my Starbarian's death fan theory. Well, it would be easier to animate if they just died in the first minute. That'd be very easy. Bowser the Dog says, Harry, you monster. It reminds me, there's a song called Harry, You're a Beast by Frank Zappa and the Mothers of Invention. Harry, you're a beast! It's a good song. Hey, Harry, speaking of Harrys, Harry Ashfield has joined us. Hey, Harry Ashfield. Hope you're well. Tamagotchi says, would you consider Jurassic Park horror? I mean, maybe. Not really. It's more of a... I think of it as more of a hybrid between sci-fi, horror, and action. Because it's kind of a sci-fi plot, you know, using DNA of extinct species to bring them back to life. But then it does have that horror element. Monty Lawless says, is it going to be just rough animation today? Well, today we're not animating. We're actually going to get these cleaned up, but they're pretty much going to be static images. That's why I didn't say that we were animating slasher villains, just drawing them. It's Gregor the Scot. Hey, Gregor the Scot. Nut Machine says, hey, Nut Machine, don't know if you've gone over this already, but what was your first horror movie? Oh, that's a good question, Nut Machine. Let me have a think while I render these images out so we can clean them up in Toon Boom, okay? That's going to be the next thing I have to do. So, I'll be right back and I'll answer Nut Machine's question. Everyone, thank you for patiently waiting there. I just don't want to be fussing around with files and folders and stuff on the live stream because I can get frustrated and start using foul language. But to answer Nut Machine's questions before we get into our cleanup, what was my first horror movie? My first movie, actually, my first two movies that I remember watching are... This shows how strangely nostalgic I am for certain things. It's Beetlejuice and Ghostbusters were the first films I really have strong memories of watching, and they're both I think Zoran was on the stream last week and he actually said horror adjacent was the phrase he uses, because they're not really horror films but they're spooky and they have, you know, ghosts and monsters and stuff. So those are really important films for me, but I don't know about actual horror. I remember I wanted to watch horror films, but my mum kind of didn't like me watching that kind of stuff. And on my 9th birthday, we rented Ghoulies 2. I hadn't even seen Ghoulies 1, but I rented Ghoulies 2. But that's not really a horror movie, because yeah, I watched Gremlins really young too. Gremlins, Ghostbusters, and Beetlejuice were always big films in my childhood. Probably the earliest horror movie that I just watched flat out was Scream. Really? That was it? And that's who we're about to draw. We're about to draw Ghostface. And I don't know if I was probably about 8 years old when that came out. So all the other movies I'd seen since then were all kind of not that spooky or gory, really. They were all kind of innocent. I definitely saw some creepy things as a kid. Like my dad watched a lot of Jan Svankmajer, who's an animator that made lots of very creepy stop motion movies. Like we watched his version of Alice, which is a really unnerving film. But not, a horror film. Anyway, before I get to the cleanup, I want to show you guys actually, because the last thing that's in this file, because I haven't deleted it yet, was this is what I send off to my assistant animators, and this is what Sven, Storktoons, if he's still in the chat, this is what he worked on. And he finished this off. So we have this shot of this James character, who's based on James Janice of Dead Meat, coming into arrest, basically. We just wanted, I'll show you actually the finished thing. Here we go. I'm belching, excuse me. So at the end of the intro, after everything's settled, he just whoop, there you go. He just puts his head around the corner like that. Boom, like that. Boom. Little last minute addition because he wasn't originally in the shot, but they looked at it and Zoran said, I'd like to see him in the shot, so we just had him come around the corner and kind of look all evil like Mr. Burns. And so I like being in control of moments of really smooth animation where the drawing is very fine, with a lot of smooth in between. So I actually did the tail end of this motion here. I did also draw the line separation for this in between, but I don't think I saved it, so I must have exported without saving it. But then I give that off to Sven with also all of these rough frames. You can see here the animation it's there for sure. You can see what's going on, but the animation is a lot like that, He has to do a lot of cleanup there to make it all work. So that's what I handed off to Sven, and Sven finished it all off and colored it in, and it came back looking great. So great job, Sven. That's why I pay him the big bucks. Spoiler, I don't actually pay him the big bucks. Both he and Yap are still at university and interning, and so they're getting kind of low rates, to be honest. So let's get a nice fatty brush because the character's going to be really small in the frame, and I want them to read. So let's get a nice fat brush, and we'll clean them up. We'll draw them and make them look all nice and clean. So we got Michael Myers. And I can absolutely look at the chat and answer some questions while I'm tackling these guys. So if anybody has any questions, maybe try and at me so I see it, but I'll do my best. Hey, Ain Dringling. Ain Dringling says, what about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Well, certainly it's a horror series. I did watch that actually kind of young. I think it was 11 or 12 when I watched that. Once I sort of broke the seal, I started watching a lot of movies. Like I watched Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre pretty young, and liked it. I remember even as a young kid, I was, like I said, I think I was 12 or 13. I remember watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre and just thinking, this is really well made and fun. I didn't expect it would be fun. There are moments in Texas Chainsaw Massacre which are really harrowing, but there are also moments that are just funny. When she goes to dinner with the family, which is, she doesn't go to dinner with the family. She's not there. She's not there of her own volition. But I forget the character's name. It's been years since I've seen it. But the whole family dinner scene is like really harrowing, but really, really cool and really funny. And it's the movie that introduced me to head cheese, which I still don't really understand the concept of head cheese. It's brain, right? It's cow brain. We might lose head cheese if these people get their way and get rid of cows, which they seem to be wanting to do for the environment. That's going to be terrible, right? No more beef and milk. How am I going to have my beef and milk pies? My famous beef and milk. How am I going to have my milk steaks? Alright, so there we go. Getting rid of the goofy teeth. And we'll keep the hair all scraggly because he's all sort of messed up looking. Poor old William Shatner, seen better days. I do wonder if he was paid for likeness rights for the Halloween films. I don't think so. I don't think he was. Hey, Russian name I can't read. Harry, your Russian fan is here. I've been watching your videos since middle school, maybe. Well, that doesn't give me any reference. I don't know how old you are. Couldn't understand a word, honestly, but admired your art, especially the Watchmen intro. Wish you good luck. Well, thank you, Russian fan. Your English looks to be excellent in terms of your writing, so maybe that's not so much a problem anymore. Josh James says, do you have any Beetlejuice toys? I had a ton as a kid. I have a couple now. But I had the Beetlejuice car, not in the movie. The Beetlejuice flying motorcycle, not in the movie. I had, like the Rat Man, the woman that turns into a bat, the teacher that turns into a buzzard. All of these things are not in the movie, by the way. Hey, Animated Taco. Animated Taco says, my first was probably Alien. Oh, yeah, I wanted to watch Alien as a kid. I think I had the toys before I ever saw the movie. Pepper says hi. I say hi back, Pepper. Hello, Elk Turin. Elk Turin says, hi, Harry. How you doing? Bad Cow Bunch says, thanks for the kind words on the Dr. Beast thingy I made. Well, yeah, thank you for making it, Bad Cow Bunch. Everyone, Bad Cow Bunch makes very bizarre, very wacky cartoons. You can check out their channel if you want to see exactly what I'm talking about, because they're there on the chat. Bad Cow Bunch is an animator. And we need them. We need more animators. I think. I don't know. I think we do. So does Michael Myers, does he wear anything under his overalls? I'm just looking. Does he have a t-shirt on? Yeah, okay. He sort of does. He has something. And he's got the... He's got the pockets there. Just sort of imply a little bit of pocket action. It's a bit of pocket action, guys. That's all we're implying here. And let me see. I have another chat comment I should get to. From Davy88. Davy88 says, Harry, all 4 characters in each eyeglass lens, or 2 in each? 2 in each, I think, just so it's not super, crushed. Malgone3 says, my first horror film that I can remember was one of the Chucky sequels. Yeah, I think I caught, when I was a kid, I think I caught Chucky the 3rd one, which is not probably a good one. I think I caught that one on TV. I've seen the first... Oh man, I've seen the first one. I've seen a couple with the bride. I've seen the Bride of Chucky, I think, and the Seed of Chucky. I think I've seen as well. Pepper says, "How are you?" Well, thank you for asking, Pepper. I'm good, thank you. Well, all things considered, imminent societal collapse aside, I'm doing all right. Thank you very much. I did go out today and actually eat in public. In a public place, which is something I haven't done for... Man, I'm trying to think. When was the last time I did that? November last year was when it was legal. It became legal again to eat inside somewhere in May of this year. I mean, I've eaten on benches and stuff, but yeah, so I did that today for the first time in forever, which was nice. But I'm trying to lose weight, so I ordered a very small portion of the thing I ended up eating, which was some Chinese. But I got the smallest they do. But I'm very well. I'm optimistic about the future, I suppose. Hope things get better for everyone. And I hope I get this cartoon finished, this intro, because that would be very, very useful. Mr. Matamation says, my first horror film was the first adaptation of Pet Sematary. Oh, okay. There was a top 100 scariest moments special that I watched on TV when I was a kid, which was just, showing spooky moments from movies and TV. And honestly, some of those, even though they were not in the context of the whole movie or whatever, just some of those moments creeped me out. And it was not Pet Sematary, it was the adaptation of Salem's Lot, which I get confused with Pet Sematary. I've actually read Salem's Lot, and I know the stories. I've seen the Pet Sematary movie, but I get confused. For some reason, I just can't... I always get confused with the titles, because I think a lot and a cemetery is kind of being similar things. But that moment in Salem's Lot, where the little kid comes through the window, the little vampire boy comes to the window late at night, that scene, seeing that on TV as a kid, creeped me the F out big time. not even that scary in the book, if I remember correctly. I like Stephen King, though. He is very good at making things that do not sound scary. There's a short story I read of his about a guy who wants to stop smoking, and it's really scary. It's really scary. It's about a guy who he meets a friend that he's not seen in years, and I'm just going to spoil it. All right, sorry, Mr. King. He meets a friend he's not seen in years, who he says, like, he can't believe how healthy his friend looks. He says, other than the fact that his friend looks a little bit fat, his friend looks extremely healthy. And he's like, "Hey, how you doing?" The guy's like, "Yeah, I'm all right. You know, I stopped smoking." His friend stopped smoking, and he's just like, "Oh, well, yeah, wow. How did you do that?" He said, "Oh, this agency helped me out. They can help you out too if you want, but I don't really recommend it." But this guy in the story is a crazy smoker, and he really wants to quit. So he goes along to see this agency to help him stop smoking. And it's basically like a cult that you can't tell anyone about. Once basically you sign something that says that, you know, they can do anything necessary to stop you smoking, they completely control your life. And if at any point during the day someone from the organization can be watching you or listening to you, there are spies everywhere. And if you take a puff of a cigarette, they'll start off with, like, they'll come and they'll electrocute a member of your family in the night. Like, they take your family away and electrocute them. And if you take another puff of smoke, they'll cut one of your family's fingers off. And it just gets horrible. So, like, he realizes that his family are going to be killed if he keeps smoking, and so he starts eating and gaining weight because he's like trying to fight his cravings. And they bring him in for a meeting and say, "Well, sir, you can't gain weight as a substitute for smoking. So if you gain any more weight, we're going to cut your fingers off." And so then he has to stop gaining weight, and it ends with him meeting his friend again, and his friend is now thin but is missing one of his fingers. And it's like he obviously completely got screwed over by this guy, but they're both happy because they've stopped smoking. It's a really weird short story, but it's kind of terrifying. This idea of basically a kind of a spy cult that will stop you smoking by destroying your entire life. FunCube says, as a second grader, I watched a scene of American Werewolf on TV. American Werewolf in London is an amazing movie. I don't know what that scene could be. It has a few scenes in it that are scary. The stuff that scared me in that movie when I was a kid was the stuff with Jack. Actually, it was Jack coming back as kind of a ghost and sort of tormenting him. Davy88 says the friend broke the rule then in the story. I guess he did. Yeah, I guess he did. I think the idea is that you can't tell anyone about the methods of the organization. You can only tell them. You can only recommend people use them, but you can't give away any of the secrets. I actually cannot remember the name of the book or that it's from. Injuringling. It's just a Stephen King short story about smoking. I'm sure if you Google that, you'll find it. It's called something like "Will Help You Quit." In fact, I'll Google it for you. Hang on, Stephen King smoking story. I think it's part of a short story in a book. It's called something like "Will Help You Quit." Quitters Inc. It's Quitters Inc. is the name of the story. Look up Quitters Inc. I think you can find even an audio book or something of it, probably for free on YouTube. All right, so there we go. There's our Michael Myers, Schmichael Schmyers. Now we're gonna draw this goon who does not look imposing. All right, let me bring up the reference for him because I can't just use my crappy chicken scratch. Okay, so he's got this kind of long, unfortunate looking frown. Like that. This is Leslie Vernon from the movie Behind the Mask, which I have never seen before, but honestly I hear good things about it. Everyone I've talked to about the film always seems to say positive things, so maybe it's a really good movie. I think it's kind of a deconstruction of the slasher genre from what I'm aware of. It's not just a straight horror movie, it's more of a kind of mockumentary type thing, like an expose about the killer. I had an idea for a horror movie a couple of years ago that I don't think I'll ever make, so I think it's safe to tell you all on stream. It was an idea for a horror comedy movie about a camp. This is the idea. It is a camp for serial killers who no longer wish to kill. For some reason, they've all lost their mojo and they don't want to kill. And there would be a Jason type, there would be a Freddy Krueger type, a Chucky type. I'm trying to think. I think there was like a female. Oh, she was like a Pinhead type. But they were all horror movie knockoff characters that you go into a camp and basically you get rehabilitated. That's not the word. Rehabilitated to kill again. They give you soft victims. The organizers of the camp will provide you with victims to kill. And what happens is that one of the victims that is dropped off in the campgrounds for them to go and stalk, one of the victims is a final girl. It is a previous victim of theirs that survived, and now she is really pissed off, and she's trying to kill all serial killers on the planet. And they don't know this. So basically, one by one, serial killers are being picked off by a normal person. It's an inversion of the typical story where it's one by one, victims being picked off by a killer. It's killers being picked off by a victim. And the main character, the main killer, is this Chucky type character that you find out he isn't actually the real Chucky. He's actually innocent. He's like to have like a body swap. So he is kind of a sympathetic protagonist. You find out that he didn't really kill all these people. He's not sort of who he claims to be. So when he realizes he's being hunted by this very experienced, very angry girl, he's sort of he wants to survive. Obviously, I just thought that would be funny. And I started writing a script for it, but I didn't go anywhere. And now I've ruined it by sharing it on live stream. So there we go. Bowser the Dog says, my favorite horror movie is Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and that was more funny than horror. Man, I watched Killer Clowns from Outer Space on a bus, basically a school bus on a school trip coming back from France with a bunch of kids that hated it, and they were all making fun of it. It was kind of chosen, like, we were about 16, and it was this kind of ironic thing, like someone brought a silly bad movie, let's watch it and make fun of it. And I was the only kid that was really actually unironically digging it because it was my kind of movie. But I couldn't make out what the characters were saying. It was a crappy VHS that I was watching from the back of a bus. So I had to go home and actually find it again. And I do like that movie. I like the effects and I just like the cheesiness of it. Lawrence Griffiths has come by, and Lawrence says, 5 years ago my friend showed me a short YouTube video called Ghost Car, and it scared the poop out of me, and I had headphones. Oh, is that the thing where the car is going along the highway and then a guy jumps out at you? Because I saw a video about the origin of that clip. Is it like a screamer, one of those early internet screamers? Aindringling says, that sounds great for a comic, Harry. Oh, maybe I'll make it as a comic, thank you. Josh James says, I want to make a Starbarians poster. I will try my best. Josh, if you do that, please send me the results. I'd like to see it. Storktoon says, I just got back from dinner to find my cat has taken my seat. Sorry, Harry, can't animate no more. Well, maybe your cat can. Storktoons, by the way, is helping me on this cartoon. Maybe we can get your cat doing some in-betweens. That would be excellent. We wouldn't have to pay the cat anything, maybe in belly scratches or possibly salmon flavored treats. I'm not going to do any pupils. I think they just look spookier without it. So, okay, there we go. That's the behind the mask guy's head. Malgon 3 says, my favorite bad movie is the second Mortal Kombat movie. I love Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I posted a clip of it on YouTube 2 weeks ago of Raiden when he does that ridiculous forward flip, excuse me, and appears and goes, never give up hope. And he's got the new haircut. That was my one gripe with the new Mortal Kombat movie, which I did like a lot, by the way. I really did appreciate it. I didn't really like the Raiden that they cast. I miss Christopher Lambert and James Remar. I just would have preferred, I don't know, like a more charismatic Raiden. I don't even know the guy that played him in Mortal Kombat Conquest, but he was good too. But yeah, generally I liked the cast. The Kano in the new Mortal Kombat movie is mwah, big chef's kiss. Really, really likable, really funny. I liked the Jax. I liked the new Liu Kang. I like, what's his name? Louis Tan. I just didn't get the character. I guess he's like a scorpion, precursor to the next Scorpion, but I just wish that they'd made him somebody else. I like the actor, but I didn't dig the character particularly. Greg of the Scott says, loved the most recent cartoon Harry, but for some reason the 8th frame was a poor print. I know, people would dig that. Unironically, that people would like that. Mr. Matamation says, I've been trying and failing to do a 3D model of the Double D-Rex from Starbarians. You know, Beanlight, the 3D animator Beanlight, a 3D modeler who's sometimes in the chat here, he's great. And he actually did that. I do have a link to his Double D-Rex, and I have referenced it in the past when drawing the ship. I've gone, yeah, how did he do it? And I quickly look and I go, all right, that's kind of how it would look like from that angle. So if you want, I can I can give you that link. But maybe you're talking about the interior and not the exterior. Okay. Draw a gnarled hand. I don't think we're even going to see his hand. It sometimes happens, but you draw things in a cartoon you know nobody will ever see. And you think, this is just time I'm throwing away. I'm pretty sure his hand will never ever be visible. But just in case, it's like, I'd rather draw it now and know that I'm done than find out later on that I've got to draw it, when I didn't think I did. And for some reason that's worse. I don't know why. It's just worse to have to draw something again when you think you're done. I'm having trouble drawing this sleeve. I'll draw some wrinkles in there in a minute. Super Ken-san says, The Room Origins. I'd watch that. I mean, that's kind of what the Disaster movie is, I guess. The Disaster Artist, sorry. And I read the book of the Disaster Artist, but I did not see the movie. I don't think that I could buy the cast. I can't buy Dave Franco as Greg Sestero, unfortunately. But Animated Taco says, the lack of Johnny was frustrating to me. Yeah, meaning Johnny Cage. Looks like he's going to be in the next one. I wanted Johnny Cage, but I was such a fan of their version of Kano that I was pretty damn happy. Just the whole movie, basically, in any... they spoilers, doesn't look like Kano's going to be in the next one, but it is a Mortal Kombat movie, and I have a feeling that they could bring him back. There's enough magic and weird stuff in that universe that they could do it. Because I think that I'm not alone in my appreciation for the Kano character in the new Mortal Kombat movie. I think quite a few people liked him. He was very well cast, very funny, very charismatic, and just awful like he should be. I like every Kano. I really like the Kano in the 1995 movie, who is dead now. Rest his soul. Great actor. He was in a bunch of cheesy, good action movies like Deep Rising and Assault on Death Island or Skull Island? Some old Hulk Hogan movie with Carl Weathers in. Anyway, that guy, the guy who played Kano in the 1995 Mortal Kombat, he was great. And weirdly, the guy, man, the Mortal Kombat Legacy web show, the actor that played Kano in that also died. He died really young. So, yeah, we've had a bad history of losing Kano actors at young ages, which I hope does not continue as a trend, because we've had some good Kanos. Let me see. FunCube says, if you enjoy The Room, you'll dig The Disaster Artist. Yes. Yeah, it's great. I do like it. What fuel source does the Double D Rex use? Asks Animated Taco. Merlinite, which is magic. It's just magic fuel called Merlinite. I will get to it at some point. I've got it written out. And Merlinite is extremely inefficient. You basically have to pretty much just sap an entire planet of its life force to get anywhere in the universe. But hey, you know, you got to get around. Okay, so something like that. He's got this weird scythe thing. Okay. Let's flip him. Flip him and make sure that he looking like King John. Which one was it? King Jong Un? No, Il. Yeah, you're looking like one of the Kims. There, old Michael Myers with his glasses. But we got to get rid of the glasses because it's not part of the look. Yeah, those two look okay to me. Let's just fix that eyebrow a bit. It looks a bit too high, like he's pulling a face. He's looking so ronery there in his jumpsuit. Okay, alright, there we go. And we'll flip it back. And now we'll do Ghostface and Jason and get them coloured in, and then that can probably be the end of the stream. I am going so slowly today. This should be taking me 20 minutes to do, but having fun talking with you guys, so. Mr. Matimation says, alright, I'm going to head to work. See you all on the flip side. Take care, Mr. Matimation. Thank you for being here. Animated Taco says, damn, protect the new guy. What do you... Oh, yeah, I know. Yes, the new Kano actor. I don't know his name, but yeah, we've lost 2 Kanos. Hello, Joe's Shocking Tunes. Joe's Shocking Tunes says, any projects you've done a while back that never saw the light of day? Yes, my Pokemon cartoon I never finished. I'd like to finish that at some point. Kilgar's Code 2 is mostly animated, but it hasn't come out yet, but it probably will come out this year for sure. Unless the grid goes down or something. I mean, yeah, like lots of like big ambitious things. I tried pitching a YouTube Red show with a popular YouTuber. It didn't go anywhere, but we did a bunch of animation for it. That was like all I did in 2016 was work on this pilot that didn't go anywhere. Yeah, I mean, there's tons actually. There's too many to mention. I made a project in university. It was an idea I had for a big epic space show called Space Hammer, and I'd like to do something with it one day, but I just think I'm going to be too busy with other stuff. The idea in Space Hammer is that it's an alien suit of armor that whoever wears it, once they die, it retains everything they learnt. So, and the idea is that thousands of aliens have worn the armor. So when it finally comes to this Earthling, also like it basically can translate alien thoughts to you so you can understand it. So if you wear the armor, you can kind of understand alien languages and alien tactics and alien weapons, and it can do a bunch of cool things. It's kind of like an Iron Man suit of armor, but it's all white. And yeah, it's about a guy who steals the armor, and he's kind of a bad guy. He's like, well, not a bad guy, but he's kind of a rogue, and he steals it and then sort of has to become good. But it had lots like I did a 6-minute animated short that I didn't quite finish, but I've wondered about putting that online before. It's just so weird. It's got a lot of unfinished backgrounds. I didn't have time to really animate the fights, which is of course like a really important part. But he fights demons basically. It's going back years and years. It's very rough by probably my standards now. It's from like 2006 or 7. Meredith Stanley says, "Love Merlinite." Well, thank you, appreciate that. Malgan says Leslie looks like he's scratching his head with the scythe. Well, maybe he is. Maybe he is. Have you seen the horror movie boy band YouTube channel? Davy88, I think I have. I'm not super familiar with it, but I remember seeing some stuff like that. Gregor the Scot says we should talk about that. Maybe, Gregor. Maybe. When I've not got a million things to do. And I can't, honestly, I got to stop doing these live streams. I don't get anything done. Because I realize the only way that you can make it worthwhile is if you talk to people. But, I got stuff to do. Gotta draw these bloody characters. Literally bloody in this case. Alright. He's not holding the painter's palette, so... You know, man, I mean, I'm getting to that age now. I'm officially old. And I was actually going through a box of stuff yesterday, and I realized I have tons of Space Hammer concept art, like books and books of Space Hammer concept art, because I was at university, I didn't have a drawing tablet yet, and I just have to draw everything on paper, and I still have it all. And I thought you could scan this. I have a lot of animation, I have test animation, I have all this concept art. I could talk about it, and I could actually turn it into kind of a cool, interesting behind the scenes into an animation that never got finished. That could be interesting, actually, Gregor. Maybe we should talk about that. Q-Boy says, would you ever sell a real Trilby Dogtooth guidebook? Dude, I would sell anything if people would buy it. Yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that. I'd sell a Trilby Dogtooth book, 100%. Maybe one day I will. Let me see. He's got... Ghostface has basically a... Here's like a wrap around his midsection. The idea with Space Hammer is that the suit is powered by how good you are. So it doesn't matter if you're 85 years old or if you're disabled or whatever it is. If you put on the suit, it gives you more power. You know, if you're a good person, you can do more with it. And the idea is that prevents it from being stolen. And then the guy that ends up taking it prevents it being stolen by a bad person, because then that bad person will not have any use for it. But it the guy that finds it is a thief, and maybe I was thinking he would actually be a murderer, but he's like a bad person, and only when he realizes that he has to be good to save himself. It's all the question is, like, if you're doing it to save yourself so that the suit doesn't consume you and eat you alive, are you really being good? But if you are actually doing things that help people, maybe you are being good. So I thought there was a cool story there. But yeah, it's just one of those things. Never got around to actually doing it because got to pay the bills, got to do what makes money, and I had other things I wanted to do as well, which is probably why I will end up doing more comic books one day, because I feel like that's the only way I get to tell all the crazy stories I want to tell. The Starbarians origin story is I think a really good story, but I just can't tell it yet because I don't have 20 animation studios that can make it for me. So maybe one day it'll have to be as a comic book, possibly. Draw that ghost face. So, actually, I'll talk about this in a minute. I'll see what people are saying in the chat. Robin Best says, are you going to work with Zontan again anytime soon? Man, I always get a Zontan question. I am so not in the Zontan loop. I did that one voice for one video, and people are like, when are you getting back with Zontan to work together? We never talk. I never ever talk to the Zontan. I don't know if they're anonymous. I don't want to dox them, but the person responsible for the Zontan content, we had a brief period where we were talking when I did the voice, but there's no collaborations planned in the future. Thank you for asking though, Robin. Hey, Aura Dragon, appreciate you being here. AJ Arts says, hey Harry, I've been a long time fan for years. I just wanted to ask, what would you say to someone starting animation? Keep it simple, make them short. Do a 10-second animation or a 20-second animation. It'll teach you a lot. And honestly, on YouTube and Twitter and stuff, you can upload a 20-second video. Twitter is all about the GIFs and the 20-second clips. So you still can find an audience if you're doing good stuff. So go for it, make some animation, but do it really short. Don't do what I tried to do early on, which is try and make a 5-minute, it's going to be epic, it's going to be a fight scene, it's going to be like The Matrix, and it's going to have a big epic storyline, because you just never finish it. That's exactly what I've spent the last half an hour talking about. A project that had a huge, tremendous storyline, never got finished. So try and make things you can actually finish. A perfect nothing is not as good as an imperfect something, if that makes sense. Make something. Animated Taco says, when I have 5 or 10 anniversaries for unfinished projects, it's such a kick in the pants. Yeah, I know, man. I know. This is the thing. Just time is a motherfucker. It just keeps on rolling. You just look. I can't believe, like, the first Starbarians cartoon is what, 10 years, 11 years old now, and I'm thinking, where did the time go? It feels like it was yesterday. Time keeps on rolling. You cannot. You just have to make stuff. If you burn to do it, do not slow down. Go out and make it, because you will be 35, 45, 55, 65 before you know it, and you'll go, oh god, I guess I'm getting too old now to do all the stuff I wanted to do. So when people say, Harry, how do you find the inspiration to make something, or how do you prevent yourself from procrastinating? Time. We are all running out of time every single day. It's you're the oldest you've ever been today, but you are the youngest you ever will be again. Okay, we're all getting older, and in 10 years time we'll all be 10 years older, so you got to pick what you're going to do with those 10 years and make yourself proud. Alright, rant over. Sorry everyone. Let's all put a bit of blood on the blade. There we go. That's going to look cool if they all got a little bit of blood on their weapon. One day you will buy Disney, Harry. One day. Very likely, thank you. Davy88 says Starbarians comic this year. That's the plan. That's the plan, buddy. Gangsta Oki says draw the Joker next stream. Not planning on it. Not planning on it. Nobody's paying me to draw the Joker. If someone commissioned me to for a lot of money, I maybe would do it. I said a lot of money there to cover my ass, because I don't want someone to shoot me $20 to draw the Joker. I'm sorry, I'm too busy, but appreciate the enthusiasm. Tricklow says just tuned in, and Harry dropping the knowledge. What was that guy's name? What was that fucking? Is it Ty something? That guy that was like, "Yo, this is my Ferrari. I buy 18 books every lunch hour, and I read 25 of them a day. It's knowledge." I'm not very good at doing his accent. I was watching this bodybuilder YouTube channel earlier, and this guy was doing a video on about protein farts, which is not something I have a problem with. But if I start eating more protein, it could be, because if you eat a lot of protein, it can be hard to digest and you can get gassy. But this guy was from Boston, and he kept calling them farts. And he's like, if you're getting wicked protein farts, you'd be exercising your arms all day, eating meat, but then you eat too much protein, it gives you fats. And just the fucking comments were brutal. Everyone was picking up on it. He said fart with like 3 A's, 4 A's. Fats. It's funny. John Mayer says, how long do you think it'd take you to draw a full comic book if you could work on it full time? It depends on the length. I think I could do a page a day. But I don't know that. I don't think if I was the inker and colorer, it'd be more like 3, maybe if I was inking and coloring, maybe a page every 2 or 3 days. But I like to think a page a day in terms of at least sketches, maybe even sketching and inking. So then it depends on the length of the comic book. If it's 20-page comic book, maybe a month. 50-page comic book, maybe nearly 2 months. Maybe obviously you want some time to write it. That's very, very important. So that could be like a couple of weeks maybe to write a good sort of 100-page comic book. But I have the story for the first Starbarians comic book pretty much written. It's not an origin story, but it is. I think it's a good story. I think it's fun and it's action packed. Yeah, I plan to do that this year. That would be great. I don't like the way this knife. Is. I think I tried to make it look kind of like it was seeing it from below, and I just think that looks stupid. Let's just draw it moronically sticking out like directly at the side. Let me look at a picture of a knife before I try and do that. Ghostface. Let me look at his knife. Okay, so it's sort of like that. Alright, there we go. Let's make that look a little bit sharper, like. Looking a bit soft there, man. A little blood groove down the middle. Some actual blood. That'll do. The hand isn't great looking. The finger looks giant. But that'll sort of get the job done. Alright, hello Revan. Revan says, is this a cartoon for Halloween? Is this a cartoon for Halloween? No, this is for the YouTube channel Dead Meat. They're a horror movie review channel and I'm doing an intro for them. Thanks for pointing that out, Davy88. John Mayer says, how long do you think it'd take you to draw a full comic book? I already answered that! He didn't ask it twice. I just read it twice. Comic book sounds amazing. Thank you, Revan. Davy88 says, do you still watch Red Letter Media? I definitely do watch Red Letter Media on occasion. I don't usually have time because they do so many videos and they make them so long. But I like them. I always have a good time when I watch them, but I just don't have the time, you know? I still am, I could consider myself a fan. Except for that video where they destroyed all those old Star Wars toys. That hurt me, boys. Because I collect old Star Wars figures and I don't have a lot of those. My collection's not very big and all I could think of was, I would have that one. Hey, I'd like that. Oh, that was a Stormtrooper. Oh, I only have one Stormtrooper. I'd like that one. That hurt. That cut me deep. This little knife looks like shit. Looking like shit. Still looking like shit. Harry, you can't draw a bloody knife. I've never been able to draw knives. Whatever. Doing these wicked protein fats. Whatever. That is good enough. Looks like shit, but it's good enough. He's got his big dopey outfit. Something like that for Ghostface. Let me just turn off that layer underneath. Yeah, my only beef with it is that the tangent of that knife and the hand. Fuck it, he's just gonna have to stick it out. I said we weren't gonna put it in any kinky angles, but it needs to look a lot more exaggerated too. To make it look much bigger. Now the lines look too thick. Woo! Looking like shite. Sorry guys, I've had it with this drawing. Had it with the drawing. And we'll just clean that up a bit like that. Alright. That's fine. That'll do the trick. That's fine, Harry. Put it to bed. Stop playing with yourself. There you go. And then we'll draw Jason. Jason over here. Let me hit save. That's a good idea. And see what people are saying in the chat. Sorry about all the grunting and anger. That was giving me some issues. Bad Cowboy. Boinch. Actually, let me quickly say hello to Beanlight Games. Beanlight, we were talking about you earlier in the chat. Mr. Matination asked about doing a double D-Rex in 3D. And I said that was something that you've done. So, yeah, maybe your ears were burning. Congratulations on that, by the way. It has really come out great, and I look at it from time to time for reference. Bad Cow Bunch says, I still didn't say it right the second time. Bad Cow Bunch says, speaking of unfinished projects, I had an idea a while back for a Wizard of Oz cartoon where Oz is infected by a zombie plague and Dorothy has to survive. That would be dope. You could call it like Wizard of, I wonder if there's like a pun on zombie. Wizard of Z, where it's like Z for zombie, or Wizard of Zombies of Oz, or Wizard of O Zombie. I don't know. I feel like there's, you know, Oz and zombie have a similarity there that you could play on. Mage Burger says, how long does it take for you to read a comment? Twice. That's a good question. Robin Best says, weird question. You've drawn a lot from your fandoms and likes, such as Elder Scrolls. What's your current nerdy streak that you partake from? I'm definitely on a Mortal Kombat kick at the moment. Playing the game, the first game downstairs, trying to get through it as Sonya Blade. She's pretty OP in the first game, but I'm terrible at it. Yeah, I don't have time for anything really. I like to, basically in the evening when I'm done, I turn on trivia videos, fall asleep to trivia videos, and I like game trivia. There's a really good channel for that called TabMock99, which is combat backwards, so 99 combat but backwards, combat with a K. And TabMock99 does all these Mortal Kombat facts. There's a guy called Scorpion who does Mortal Kombat facts as well that I like. Guy called MK, I think it's PKMK or something, who does Mortal Kombat stuff. So yeah, Mortal Kombat. For some reason I'm in a Mortal Kombat mood. Anyway. Gregor the Scott says, "With zombies of Oz." Zombie. It's good. Beanlight says, doing okay, sleepy, trying to learn how to make VR chat models. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, Beanlight is very talented with 3D. Alright, so trying to draw Jason now. And the one change we're going to make is we're going to put his little cut on his helmet on the other side, because he is technically being reflected in the glass. So I'm not going to make like the hair different. I'm just going to keep the shape of his head the same. Draw his little cauliflower ear in. Alrighty, and he's got these big hollow eyes. I mean, you can see Jason's eyes. I thought it was just more fitting to make them black. I just thought that looked kind of creepier and fit his character a little bit more. Okay, so let's get this guy done quickly because I'm lollygagging here. The buttons would be on the other side too, I guess. What else is happening in the chat? Let me come take a peek. Robin Best says, if you want guaranteed cash, look at the Warhammer animations. The maker of that is buying everyone who makes big Warhammer animations and getting them into animation teams. Yeah, thanks, Robin. That's a good tip. I did see that guy that does CGI Warhammer stuff is getting sort of involved with the actual Warhammer makers. I really want to transition to making my own cartoons with my own characters. Like I say, I have that unfinished Pokemon cartoon I may get round to at some point. But other than, you know, working for pay like I'm doing right now for the Dead Meat YouTube channel, I really want to refocus on more Starbarians, Dr. Bees maybe, Trilby Dogtooth, other new characters you haven't met yet. That's my dream, that's my passion. That is why I'm animating, it's because I want to tell stories. So the idea of making animation with characters that are not mine doesn't really thrill me anymore. It just doesn't. It never really did. So I'm hoping that I get to do more and more of my own characters in the future. Which is why I have a Patreon, and why in a few days I am going to make a video actually from my main YouTube channel. Just not so much saying, hey, I have a Patreon, please give me money. Although that is kind of what it is. But I'm just going to say, I'm going to announce what I'm working on next, which will be Starbarians, and say, look, this, if you want to just help me out with the cost of a cup of coffee each month, which is really all I think that people would need to give. If a few thousand people could do that, give us $2, I would be able to hire another couple of animators, and we'd be able to make Starbarians for this summer as opposed to next winter or something crazy like that. I don't want another 3 years to go by before people get to see the new Starbarians, because when it's done, I'm going to move into the next thing and the next thing and keep the trainer rolling. So I think it, you know, if people like the cartoons, I do think it's in their, I don't want to sound like a salesman here. I feel it's in their interests to shoot me a $2 each month, because it's going to go back into producing more stuff and not just go into my great big pile of money. Which is ironic that I made that cartoon. A lot of people think that was me being down on Kickstarters. I'm not. I do think that there's a lot of worthwhile Kickstarters out there. I was just making fun of really it was the guy that did the potato salad Kickstarter, that ridiculous thing, which was a big issue at the time. But yeah, that's what I plan on doing. It's just telling more stories with my characters. Alright. I don't know if I like what Jason's arm is doing here, but I think we can get away with it given the given how briefly you're going to see him and how close up he's going to be in the actual camera, the glasses lens. Guys, just a refresher if you've joined us and wondering what the F I'm doing. At the end of this cartoon, I want to see a bunch of horror characters reflected in Zoran's glasses here. So, like, that's all it is. You know, they're going to be really small in the frame, really simple. You're not going to see their legs. There's barely going to be any animation. They're just going to be sliding into view. And I just think that'd be kind of cool to see him at the end in his glasses. So that's what we're working on. That's why Jason, the cut on his mask is on the other side, because he's technically being reflected. So a weird attention to detail that I didn't need to pay. But all right, well, we'll draw the machete in a second and just see if there's anything in the chat I should get to. Hey, Raptor Kill. I think you're new. I haven't said hello to you yet. Meredith Stanley says Trilby Dogtooth. Yeah, yep. Gonna do more of him for sure. Raptor Kill says, good luck with your own stuff. Appreciate it, Raptor. Thank you. Hello, Scott Jones. Scott Jones says, hey, Harry, love your content. I wanted to tell you I made Dr. Bees as character in D&D, and it's been an absolute hit. Thank you for the new video. I screen grab and crop expressions to post in game chat. Oh, man, that's great to hear. I hope it brightens up your D&D sessions. I don't know any D&D terminology because I'm not a D&D player. What do they have? They got the Bahamut. Is there like a big three-headed dragon or something called a Bahamut? I was gonna do a Dr. Bees thing. I was gonna do, what's this? An owl bear? A horde of owl bears woefully uninfested by bees? My half-orc brethren filled with bees ought to put a stop to that. I'm not filled with bees. Ah! And then, of course, he splits open and bees fly out of him. And that's a bit violent for Dr. Bees, but I was trying to come up with something on the spot, you know. Bowser the Dog says, my small nitpick with your Patreon is that your tier 1 is called Bad Guy, and that seems like a turn away for some newcomers who can't afford more than a few bucks. Yeah, I know. The thing with the Bad Guy is because I was trying to come up with like an obvious stratification where it's Barbarian, Starbarian, Kilgarian, but I couldn't think of one, like a below Barbarian. What would that be? Brute? That doesn't sound good either. So maybe we'll get rid of that. That's a good idea, Bowser. I might take that on board. I do have. I could maybe have Barbarian, Starbarian, Kilgarian, and then like something above that. I think I'll do that. I think you got a good point there, son. I like the cut of your jib. Raptor Kill says, been a fan since 2011. It's always exciting to see new stuff from you. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Turbo Toxin says D&D Dr. Bees would release Sturges. Is a Sturge a thing from D&D? He would play B&B. B&B. The Bad Cow Bunch says, hey, Harry, have you ever heard of the Captain Underpants books? Heard of them, never read them. I think they're a little bit after my time. Call them Barbarian. Fun Cubes, we already have a Barbarian tier. We have Barbarian, Starbarian, Kilgarian, so. Alright, let's draw that machete. The mashy T. Yep, I'm gonna do it. Bowser. I'm gonna rename it. I suspected that for a while. I think Gregor and I maybe have talked about it before, but we just didn't get around to it. But I think before I make my Patreon, my Patreon video, which is not really a Patreon video, but my video to say, hey everyone, look, I'm on Patreon if you want to help me make Starbarians faster. I think it'd be a damn good idea to scrap the bad guy tier and introduce something else. And you will get 20%, Bowser the dog. No, I'm sorry, you won't. That's a joke. Does that look like a machete? I don't think that looks like a machete. That looks like a big shoehorn or something. Let me look at a picture of a machete. No, not the movie. Machete. Okay, with the little lip there at the end, maybe, like that. And it's pretty much just straight, so... It'll do. It'll feckin' do. Bloody hell. Getting all Irish on it. Hate it. Maybe just a little skinnier there. Okay, I'm gonna keep that. That works for me. Works for me. And put a little bit of blood on the end. And I might move it away from his head a bit. Looks like he's gonna give himself another cut in the head. That. And let me see. I don't want to make sure that the chat goes unvisited. Scott Jones says he throws javelins shaped like bees with massive stingers at enemies. That's a good idea. Oh, in your actually in your D&D, do you mean? Maybe you're just giving us ideas. Meredith Stanley says shoehorn Lamau. I sell those at work. Hopefully Jason doesn't visit. I mean, he'd have trouble killing you with a shoehorn, but I guess he could do it. You could scoop your eyeballs out. Alright, let's get this sucker done. Guys, I don't think I'm going to color it on stream, because it's been an hour and a half. I've just been shooting the breeze, talking with you all, having fun, getting nothing done. Pretty typical, really, for one of my streams. But it was very fun. So let's just wrap this mess up by drawing a nice muscled Jason arm. Made him a little bit too buff, but I always feel like Jason doesn't look that buff in the movies, and then you see the actors that play him and they're huge. And it's that thing, when you bury somebody under clothes, you don't realize just how shredded and bulky they are. More bulk than shred, I guess, but... Jason! Okie dokie. So, gonna put a little streak there just to kind of imply a little bit of fabric bunching up. And let's look at our serial killers. Let's flip them around. Serial killers, slashers, whatever. We got the Michael. We got this goon. What's his name? I forget. Leslie. Not, you know, it's a fine name, I guess, for a serial killer. I wouldn't have picked Leslie Vernon, but just add a little bit more mess to him, because I remember he had a few holes in his outfit. Leslie, the serial killer. And then you got Jason. And you got Ghostface. Yeah, let's finish off Jason's collar there. Looks like a bit of a mess. And I don't like this arm. I want to go with an arm that's just straightforward, kind of... just kind of a big clenched fist. again, I don't think you're actually going to see it. In fact, I'm only going to give him 3 fingers. That's how confident I am that we're not going to see that hand. I'll just give him 3 fingers and call it done. I just like the general direction that it's sort of sitting in there a little bit better. Okie doke. Alright, folks. Well, I can clean up the fingers a little bit there. Like a this. And there you go. Alright, I think that's a bit better for Jason. Whoa, where he's all a million miles away. Okay, so that's our Jason and our Ghostface. And we've got our Michael and our Leslie. I will bring these into Flash and color them up, but I think I'm going to do that off stream, everyone, because I've been on now for 98 minutes, and I'm going to go hang out with Joyce and, you know, give her a nuggie, give her a swirly, stuff her in a locker, take her lunch money, and then steal her prom date. That's my plan. But everyone who's come by today, I really appreciate you being here, especially those people that stayed the whole time, because God knows how you find the patience for that. Maybe you were able to put it on in the background and get something done. Hey, Tobias Grimm. Sorry I didn't catch you until now, but thank you for being here as well. You as well, Fun Cubes, and Bowser the Dog, and Davy88, and Meredith Stanley, and John Mayer, and Raptor Kill, and of course, Gregor the Scot, my good buddy Gregor the Scot. Bowser, did I already mention you? I think I did. Can't remember. Revan, Bowser the Dog, in case I didn't say goodbye already. Revan and Bad Cow Bunch and Mina Dinner. Hey, Mina Dinner. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but everyone, I'm going to be hitting the road now. Thank you for being here. You too, Bean Like Games. You take care. But I'm glad you think it was fun. Sid Sugar Skull, you as well. Really a pleasure to be here with you guys. I didn't really get very much done, but Gregor says he was working on a script. I don't know how you can work on a script and listen to a live stream, but that's because you've got a mega brain, Gregor. Gregor the mega brain. Tewak the Yumi. This is actually my first time watching the stream all the way through live. Well, appreciate it. Thank you, the Yumi. Lorenz Griffiths and Indringling. Josh James. All right, everyone. I'm heading off, but thanks for helping me draw these goons, and you'll get to see them come to life very shortly. Monty Lawler and Animated Taco as well. Thanks a lot, guys. You take care now. Bye-bye.